Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We got one heck of a program going on today. We got a lot of passionate discussion. Blue and I are going to try to remain friends through all this. Well, I think we'll pull through, but it's going to get heated. We might throw stuff.
Get heated.
Words will be exchanged. It's going to be good though. We got tons of stuff, man. Like it's a really cool time for our audience and like for FPS fans as a whole, especially like extraction shooter folks. And this stuff kind of ties into all three of our co-host areas with kind of some really high-end games coming out, some extraction shooters coming out, some indie games coming out. The extraction shooter genre is picking up steam. So that's what a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about today is. As you know, all of us have some experience with Gray Zone Warfare. Blue and I have played it. Buff has been studying it arduously. Is that a right word? It just came to me. I hope it's all right.
Yeah, it sounds good. I like it.
I'm trying to sound smart. Come on, man. And then
with
that being said, we got some Arena Breakout Infinite, Arena Breakout, and people call it Gray Zone like a clone. Arena Breakout is a Tarkov clone, man. And it's coming to PC, and it's kind of exciting too for what it is. The XDefiant test is kind of hilarious, so we'll probably roast Ubisoft a little bit. And outside of that, man, lots of stuff to talk about. I am one of your co-hosts, Crash, joined by other two co-hosts, Buffnerd Gaming and BlueTheRobot. How we doing, men?
Very well. Very well. Very jealous of both of you for being able to play Gray Zone when I'm over here.
This has probably been one of the most expensive playtests I've ever done.
I watched a lot, so I feel like I played it, but I know if I played it, I would not have stopped and would have been straight addicted. So probably the best.
Yeah, probably.
It's just been nonstop since Thursday. So
I wouldn't be here. You probably would still be playing right now.
I would still be playing right now for sure.
Yeah, I would like to be playing it right now, to be honest, but I would never miss an episode. Would never miss it. I love this, and I was really excited for today. There's some episodes where we kind of have to come up out of our ass with stuff to talk about, and we just kind of hang out. This is not one of those. There's a lot of topics going on. I would ask how everybody's weekend's doing, but I really got to hear about Blue getting banned on YouTube. We got to talk. That's juicy, man. We got to get into it real quick.
This was wild.
I'm not gonna touch it, but it's sitting behind me right now. The reason why I got so you're gonna get banned.
I was like, I want to watch Crash and Blue both on YouTube, and I went to find Blue stream, and I was like, well, that's weird. Like it says the stream's like not available. So I like went to my subscriptions, went to your channel. I was like, what's going on?
I wonder what it said. Yeah, I wonder what it said for my viewers, because it just like completely deleted itself.
It didn't say anything. Like I clicked on the link and it was just said basically like it took me to the page and said video is not available, essentially what it was. And then I saw your X post. And that's when I figured out like what happened. So yeah, that was weird. I was pretty confused.
Yeah, man. It was not for having it visible, so apparently just handling it, even if it's unloaded in a safe manner, apparently on live is just enough for you to I didn't lose streaming privileges. It was just I wasn't able to stream for a day. And that's the thing too. At the point when I did get banned, I guess you could say, I didn't know how long it was going to last for.
Yeah.
And I tried talking to chat. I know like for like YouTube partners, they have like this creator support, stuff like that. I tried going down their route of contact us, support, sending an email. And I didn't hear anything until like the day I got unbanned, and it wasn't even like, hey, you're unbanned now, and this is what you did. You know, it was like, we'll push it up and to our internal investigation team. But I was already unbanned before they even pushed it up. So
that's so weird though, because like the live stream like regulations or guidelines, I guess, are different than videos. Because I checked. I read it because like they keep it very vague at first until you read into it more. Yeah.
But yeah, literally the difference between live is that you can't handle it, which means no range streams, I guess.
Right.
Because it says you could, if it's on I think I read it more if it's like if you're shooting it on a range possibly, but I guess not at the same time. I'd have to read it again, but I wouldn't handle it at all in general. To be honest, if it's a live stream, that range streams are gonna have to be for Twitch.
Yep.
That's
how
I was so confused. So it was just like Grand Thumb, administrative results, like any of those channels.
Well, now that I've noticed that when they go live, they're not holding firearms. They're talking about them. They're they're like T-Rex Arms will literally have like they're live. It's just two guys talking, and they'll talk about it. I think they'll even like mess with like attachments. They'll like showcase a sight. They'll showcase a chest rig, not the actual firearm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so I was when I was doing my range streams, I really got into the weeds and read through all the TOS for both platforms. And so, to my surprise, what I came away with was you can handle firearms, shoot them at like range streams on Twitch as long as you're following safe procedures and doing everything like you should, which I agree with anyway all the way around. But then YouTube on live streams, no handling, no shooting the firearms. You can with prepared content, with like prepared videos, it's okay. But like if you touch, so that's like that's the line you have to walk when you're using guns on video.
That's wild. I don't
very
get
hypocritical. Very hypocritical on both sides.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they're worried someone's gonna do something, but yet there's rap videos of like wannabe gangsters like pointing their loaded Glock, with a switch like at the cameraman. Like I fear for the cameraman during those music videos because he's just getting like 20, 30 guns.
You also had a couple people that like for something last month, I think it was, where the guy had killed his father prior to the live stream, and then on the live stream like held up his dad's head and like started boiling it. So that's probably why. So they don't have like murder on live stream, I would assume. But still.
I guess. Yeah. Well, the thing is too, it's not ever a human reviewing these things. It's usually just some kind of algorithm AI bot, because it happened so fast. And then when I tried to appeal it, it was denied even faster. And I don't think that was a human reaction.
You posted it and you posted on X and I clicked within 5 minutes and the stream was down. And I was going to your page, going all over the place, trying to figure out like what's going on. And then I figured, I saw your post. Really weird.
But you know what? I guess I'm glad that it was only for a day. I wish when they do something like that, they will tell you for how long. At least, but they didn't even tell me that. So, but that's, we're back. That's all that matters. I was prepared to switch over to Twitch entirely, which it did wake me up a little bit to like, I really need to have different avenues for sure. Having all eggs in one basket, especially on YouTube with all its restrictions and rules, and really, especially if I do want to do more fire stuff, it's gonna have to wait till I can spread my, I guess, wings a little bit more around different places. So I wasn't gonna do Rumble. I hate their UI. In my opinion, I'm not a fan of their UI. But so that was my time for showcasing a firearm that was in the video game itself that I was playing. So
that'll happen. Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah. But it's crazy because I've done it before, but I think I like on stream said this is airsoft. So maybe if I stuck with that notion the entire time, I don't know, maybe. But
yeah, paint.
I don't want to test it again because I don't have a just paint the tip orange. Yep. I don't have any strikes on the channel though, which is good. So
that's
the main thing.
Yeah.
Buff, what did you do this weekend while were you like, did you have like FOMO? Were you like depressed watching everybody play Gray Zone?
Dude, I was playing. So I did a DMZ stream on Saturday for the manhunt stuff. I had a great time with that. I'm having a really good time with that. But I was also at the same time like, I have like my gaming monitor, and then I have my two PC monitors for my setup. So like I'd be gaming, looking at chat, and then I'd have like you or someone, multiple different Gray Zone streams up on my other monitor, just kind of like pretend. I was like, yeah, this is almost the same as Gray Zone, and just like so jealous at the same time. But I was like, this is the only extraction shooter I can currently play because of the limitations of my streaming feed. I was pretty jealous, but to be fair, I did have a really good time with DMZ. And then I think a good thing that like came up just just being in chat with my chat on Saturday stream was the fact that like we have like 7 extraction shooters coming out this year alone. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, Activision and Call of Duty canceled DMZ for the meantime, and just like talk about terrible timing per usual, because you have Gray Zone, Delta Force, Arena Breakout, and multiple others too that we'll get into on this show going forward. But there's at least like 5 to 7 extraction shooters that are pretty big, gonna make big waves. So it's a good year for extraction shooters for sure.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few. And man, yeah, the Arena Breakout one kind of blindsided me a little bit as something I didn't expect.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, really
and that was always like the mobile Tarkov experience that I wish it was on PC. Because I tried it out on my phone and it just wasn't it for me. I didn't want to go out and buy like one of those game pads for the phone as well. But you know, for the quick, you know, tutorial mission I tried and went through and did some looting and stuff like that, it really is just like a clone of Tarkov. Like it is the quintessential clone compared to what everyone else is saying are clones of Tarkov, which is funny. So like everything from just the way you manipulate the firearm to the way you loot to the way even like people like, oh, I think I saw a lot on Twitter this past, you know, a couple days of just like everyone was comparing Gray Zone's UI, their stash, stuff like that, to Tarkov. But then it was like, you guys realize Tarkov got that from something else, and then so on and so forth. It was just like that everyone was just comparing. It was hilarious.
It's like it was DayZ originally, pretty much, right? Is the original UI for the most part?
The original, I don't know actually. I mean, it's kind of hard to just like
it's all
even
like iterative. It's not 1-to-1.
Yeah, it's like hard to pinpoint. I'm thinking like what was the first game that had body, you know, health, armor left side, and inventory right side, you know. So
but like why fix what isn't broken? So I don't know why it matters. Like, why would you reinvent the wheel? Pull a Battlefield and just do some ridiculous catastrophic stuff to your game.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, do we do it?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
We already started talking about it.
Tell me how awesome it was, guys, while I just sit here and listen.
I just have to make sure, like with the caveat here, that after we get through this, Blue is still going to be my friend. We have to make sure.
I think me playing with a better GPU changed my opinion a little bit. And Rick popped in as well too and kind of clarified some things as well too about like the amount of employees working there.
Yeah, as
well, which kind of helped out. So I was like, okay, I get it now. I understand a little bit more now, especially with, and he was explaining to me about, sure, it's Unreal Engine 5, but they've done so much work to that engine that it's almost not their own, but I mean, it's also their whole Scala, however you pronounce it, Skalla, is, you know, their own proprietary stuff. And he said it's about like 70-ish people working on that team for Gray Zone Warfare. So that's, for the scale that they're trying to go for, is still pretty small. It's not like 5 to 10 people, super small indie, which would be insane for some a team like that to take on a task like this. But it's also not AAA magnitude. It's like a building of like 200 plus people, you know.
Yeah, and it's also pretty insane that Mara was saying they built the vast majority of this map from start to finish in like a year. So that's
exactly
mind-blowing too.
But I would say again, from playing it from my 2070 Super to my 4070 now Super Ti, I went both 70 series, but it was like I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt. And then today when I was playing on stream, the server started having some issues. So it's just like, okay, like, come on, guys. I'm trying to show you guys in a good light, you know, and there's just a couple little, you know, again, Rick told me, he's like, look, it's pre-alpha. And I was like, all right, I get it. I understand. but there are a lot of issues that are popping up more and more. I think Fry said it the best: the honeymoon phase is over, and now people are starting to see some glaring issues. Not with too much. Oh, it's actually, I mean, it's really gameplay actually, because I was gonna say not too much good gameplay, but I think it is kind of there's some gameplay issues.
Yeah, there are some gameplay issues, and I guess Blue and I had a little bit of a start to our discussion in one of my streams about the game, and I was pretty impressed with it at the time, and definitely in the honeymoon phase. And I'll admit that
it's tough to gauge too over text. By the way, I hate like
right
type of back and forth. So
because we were kind of going back and forth where Blue really wasn't feeling it and had a lot of issues with it, and I saw some of the issues, but I was pretty impressed with it and where this game could head. And I guess we can see where our differences arise if we just kind of get into it and talk about what we thought of it. So I'll say, like, right off the bat, the map is pretty crazy. Now, I haven't played much Ghost Recon, so I mean that might be its only competitor. I was so impressed with the map, with the size of it, with the graphics, with the visuals, with the detail in the graphics. There were some details that kind of have been creeping up to me that I've been seeing with like shooting through scavs, or shooting at like AI, I call them scavs, but shooting at like AI in the bushes, and like leaves fall out of it. When an operator takes a knee and their back foot is back, you can see like their shoe is bent, like how it actually looks like if you bend your foot. Like just little details that aren't in other games that you see are really cool. So the foundation is there. The fact that also that they built this within a year has me excited to think what they could add to it in yet another year. And I guess I know one of the things that Blue and I had the big difference on was like, how long do we think it's going to be until it's ready for early access? Because you were saying like months, and I'm saying like a few weeks. So,
ooh, yeah, no, that's where we definitely differ. And I would say, I even a lot of people in my chat were saying the same thing, that 2 months is too fast. I think even 2 months is a little bit too quick, but it also depends on how fast, because they did put out that patch, within the playtest, which again, I think Redbeard said it as well too. Like, I don't think any of us were expecting any fixes during the playtest. I thought it was just like, here's the playtest and then we'll fix it afterwards. So to see that they went out and did something was actually pretty impressive, but there's still issues, even like with their AI patch that they did with like the tankiness. I think there's still some issues with the ballistics. I mean, I was shooting at just today. I was shooting at a dude. He was sitting behind a bush again, and I was using 7.62x39, and I wasn't shooting like the middle of the bush, a bush with a giant stick in it. It was just the top with the leaves, and it just wouldn't penetrate. I saw it where it would hit and splash, So, and it wasn't only a one-time thing. It was multiple times. And then again, the AI, in my opinion, there's times where I would shoot one and he would the other guy next to him would just kind of like, huh? It was like very clueless enemy. But I also understand, because it's a PvE VP game, they kind of have to find that balance of trying to balance the AI with, the AI time to kill, both ends, receiving and giving, to player TTK as well. And that's probably a fine line that they have to walk, because if they make the AI too easy, then it's just going to be, more PvP with like little AI kind of sprinkled in. But if they make them too hard, then people are going to just keep complaining about the AI the entire time, and it might make PvP almost not non-existent, but it's almost like an annoyance. It's like, crap, I'm fighting aimbot AI, but there's also now players here too, and now I got to worry about both. So it's, I mean, I saw people how many times raid the other players' bases, and I remember when I first saw the base AI, the way they were set up, the way they were patrolling, the way they were guarding, I was like, dude, there's no way these guys are gonna be aimbot city they're gonna defend your base, and I'm seeing players go in, just wipe out an entire base like it's nothing, and then start spawn camping the other players in their own base.
Yeah.
So
they have, yeah. So as far as like the game itself, I'm impressed with how far it is. I'm impressed with how a lot of it worked. And you guys remember like the days before I played, I was just hopeful that it worked, like we could get through a gameplay
that it
loop,
ran,
and it did.
Yeah,
it did. Like there were crashes, we had to start over. What was really cool was that the game actually handled crashes really well. Like it even took the frustrations out of crashes, because it was almost like the loot in your loadout and what you were doing was like server side.
Once it's there,
control
yeah.
of. So if you crashed, you logged right back in and boom, you're back at base. You still have all your stuff. You didn't lose your gear. You didn't lose your quest items. It was that was super nice. But as far as like the problems with the gameplay, and I think the vast majorities are kind of been talked about by everybody, and they're for sure working on. The base rating is weird, but where it's weird and an issue, I also see room for opportunity. They could make some cool base rating mechanics. I feel like buff those AI a little bit, maybe give like a warning that there's enemies nearby and stuff like that. And the map itself kind of balances stuff on its own inherently really neat when it comes to, I heard people saying like they didn't have like that exciting and an adrenaline packed feeling like you do in Tarkov. I really did when I came across PvP. The game started out really slow, which I guess is okay. And then once you progress,
it's the learning curve.
Yeah. Once you progress down and started going to the other places that where joint tasks were, where you're going to see other enemies and stuff like that. I thought the PvP was really like, I was like, my heart was racing, like my stomach was up in my throat. Like I was really pumped up for the PvP when I came across people, because it's kind of rare. And also how the game works itself, it kind of balances itself out really kind of nicely, because if you're with a squad and you accidentally get one tapped by a scav and it's like a really stupid death, it's not a huge deal because you're going to be able to come back and get your stuff. But if you're across the map closer to the enemy's base, or even if you're raiding their base, or that one time we actually went after the other team's starting town base. We went clear over to their starting town to get into PvP. We actually fought Riot's team, American Riot's team. It was hilarious. But that you're going to lose your stuff. So you get that Tarkov thing. Like there's no way we were going to get clear back to the town and get our stuff, or because they were going to take it
if you did go down.
And if you're in PvP and you kind of lose out on that fight, you're not going to be able to get your stuff back. The people are going to be in that area. You probably can't even use that landing zone, which we definitely need to get into how landing zones work. But you can't, like your stuff's gone when you're in PvP. So I feel like it's really a nice balance of like when you're in PvP, it's pretty damn intense. And when you're kind of doing scavs and stuff, it's almost kind of relaxing because
it's chill. Yeah,
it takes some of the frustration out of getting killed by AI. And when you
can go back as with like a knife and go right back to your stuff if you're just doing AI stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like if you die to an AI, you're always mad. And so it takes a little of that edge off. But then if you die to PvP, I'm always, unless something crazy happens, I'm always like, GG's, man. Like, damn.
Yeah, like, no, if someone like clutches and stuff like that, then, you know, that's great. But if not, yeah, I mean, in general, any PvP game that has this kind of loot, you know, system, Daisy, Deadside, anything, if you die to a player, 9 times out of 10, you're losing your stuff, you know? So it might be a couple things. And there's no insurance. People were asking for insurance. I don't think this game needs it. My opinion. I don't think.
There were a lot of people. I don't know.
What's your opinions on that?
I don't think so. I think the insurance is like playing with a team. You get your stuff back enough. I don't think
it is a lot tougher for solo players, but I kind of think that's just the way the game was designed.
Well, actually, the solo experience is tough, like really tough. But the coolest moment in the game I had was actually solo. I was tasked with killing people in the fishing village of Banpa or whatever. So I built a really long range. The Daniel, like this stuff, I don't know if you saw, Buff, like the guns you get at the level 2 gunny trader are really awesome. They had some like Daniel Defense MK18s and stuff that looked like
I did see
sick.
some of them. Yeah,
they looked awesome. So I put a voodoo on there and dropped in the LZ, ran out to the beach, and I got like Overwatch on the town. and I was able to kill like all 20 of the AI that I needed to from this like super badass position, head tapping all these guys. And it felt kind of like Ghost Recon a little bit from what I've seen of that game. And I got back out, went back to the LZ, got back to base, and they're like, okay, now you have to go back and kill the leader. And I was like, all right, same drill. So I dropped in on the heli, moved through the jungle, got up to my same Overwatch spot, looked around with my scope, found him, laid prone, like kind of dialed in like my elevation and stuff, zeroed my scope, and took the shot. Boom, knocked out the boss.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool moment.
I was like, man, that was pretty sick. So like that was cool. And it's just, you never know what you're gonna get, and that's like got me kind of wanting to come back to it, because there's like an uneasy feeling of PvP at any moment when you start getting into those later quests, and it is kind of shitty because you lose your stuff. But so that's like some of the good stuff. If we do want to get into the things that they definitely need to fix, landing zones is one of them. And I think the devs had a big kind of bad PR statement, or I don't know. I just think they left a little bit of gave a little bit of a disappointing answer.
A reason, but they also like they gave a reason. Like, this game was because of all the past experiences with early access games recently. It's almost tough to give no reason to shit on the game, but they gave a couple of reasons because people are going to judge it very harshly. Yeah, so, even if it is in its pre-alpha stage.
Right. Well, the thing I wanted to say that I was disappointed in their answer is kind of how it went with Big Fry when he said this, you got to do something about camping the landing zones. And the dev said, just walk. You don't have to use the choppers. And I'm like, dude, some of those chopper rides
said that?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those chopper rides are like 5 minutes on their own. It would literally take you, I bet it would take close to an hour to get to the other side of the map. Plus right now you can't go, there's radiation in the ground zero. You can't go through there. So if you had to go, like if you're in Mithras on the south and you have to go up to Hunter's Paradise for this quest, dude, I bet it take you an hour of walking. And on top of that, out in between those towns, there's nothing right now. So
it's pretty rough. It's just whole lot of nothing. Yeah.
And it's like,
man.
And it's like,
I go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna, just to put a point on that statement, why I was disappointed by it. It's like they put choppers in the game as like a big part of the gameplay loop. Like that chopper ride is really cool. Picking what LZ you want to take is really cool. It's like a big mechanic because the map is so big. The map itself is kind of a layer in balancing. Like the farther away you get from base, the closer you are to enemies. So like the spatial design of the map kind of leads into the balancing of everything, like where PvP is and how risky it is to venture out farther away. And one of the big things about moving around is the choppers. That's like a huge thing. And then you're just like, don't use it. That's not the right answer to me.
I do think so. I think that I didn't see that tweet, but I do think it's premature. And again, I watched like a lot of creators, including both of you. I did see the camping of the landing zones, and I saw in one of the times I was watching you on day one, Crash, you guys like a chopper rolled in, and I think a solo got off, and that was kind of the video I covered of your gameplay where you guys caught the dude on the other side of the wall. I think that was the guy that probably got off the chopper. But so there's two things. I do think that having the choppers continually come in and out to the landing zones while you're in combat in the area is an awesome feature. So that should obviously stay. But I do think there needs to be probably a prompt to say, hey, there's active combat or there's enemy PMCs in the area of the landing zone, and then you have a option to divert to another LZ, or like a secondary LZ should be an option, something like that, or go back to base should be your choices, and then like figure out what you want to do from there, because it's pretty easy to code in like, is there enemy PMCs in the area? Yes, no. Okay. If there is, prompt user to go secondary LZ or back to base, and then you can divert. But you also, I think, you need to be able to shoot from the helicopter, because the 100%. couple of clips you did, the guy was like just waiting for you to get off.
Oh my god! When I saw that, dude, I was like, did he really? And the fact that these are creators too kind of bothered me.
Well,
bit, like
not all of them, because a
not
couple of people
all of
got other
them, but still,
codes.
or like
So
friends of creators as well
yeah,
too,
yeah.
and I'm just like, but there were some times where certain creators did some pretty scummy stuff too, so
But I
Yeah,
will say
it's
though, if
yeah.
I were in a situation where I happen to be, because I was watching Jessica Zam, I think it was Friday. I was watching Jesse, and they were in probably like an hour and a half long PvP fight, which happened to be in the area of one of the LZs, and they were in active heavy combat, and it was amazing to watch. And unfortunately, you had friendlies come in a helicopter to the landing zone, and they were yelling like, "Hey, there's enemies on that hill. Run to us, run to us, run to the smoke." And then enemies landed, and you just happen to be in combat in the area. Of course, you're going to shoot. So that's where there needs to be an option for someone on the helicopter. Hey, there's enemy PMCs here. Divert to second LZ or back to base. Because if you happen to
Yeah.
be like that, they weren't camping the LZ whatsoever, but they happen to be in a very long, drawn out engagement, and enemies happen to come
I
in.
would like to
So
see like on the map if you start getting close to an LZ or a certain area that of something like that. I think you said it, Crash. I don't know, maybe I forgot who I saw it from, but like, and I've seen it in other games. There's a Stalker MMO Roblox or Minecraft mod kind of thing called Stalkcraft, and when there's enemy or friendly deaths, you don't know where the enemy killed them from, but when there's a friendly death, a little skull pops up on the map. So it'd be like this person died here. So then if you're heading to an LZ, you see a bunch of skulls in one spot, and normally that would be where the helicopter would land. That's probably someone camping that LZ. So okay, well, hey, I can't go there, but I can at least go over there. Also, I think that would help if you're on a mission, you see a bunch of your teammates die, maybe you can try to go and reinforce them if possible.
Yeah, they have the blue tracker or whatever it is.
For your friendlies.
Yeah, it would be cool if they gave like a signal for like if they were dead, like it would turn gray or something, like if they quit moving or something. Yeah. But I'm also learning how to combat this just a little bit, and I've learned things like if you drop into a server and you need to go to a town that's heavy for questing, that's in like kind of the confrontational territory where there could be PMCs, you can look and see like, are your blueberries there? If they're there, it's probably pretty safe. If they're not, you better be like really careful and maybe take a different LZ. But as far as like the landing zone camp, that tweet went crazy. It was also used in Geek's video and Big Fry's video. Like it got used in a bunch of people's videos too for like examples of getting camped, because it was egregious, man. For those of you who haven't seen it, yeah. I was landing in a chopper, and there was a player just waiting there, and I can't shoot. You can't move your gun. I'm on VoIP like, dude, really, please don't.
Yeah. And the fact that you're like on an animation rail too, because you can't, even after you get off,
and I can't do anything. So I land, my gun starts to come down, he kills me. On the flip side, I had a similar issue where I was on the other side of it. I dropped in and landed, and there were teammates fighting our blueberries. And this was some really good PvP I got into yesterday. They asked for help at the base, and so we went up to help. So it's like the cool faction thing. Like there's some downsides about factions that we can talk about too, but that was a really cool part of the faction. People were base like, hey, can you go up to the firing range? They kind of need help. So we went up there. We dropped in. We were getting ready to go into the woods, and then an enemy chopper's coming in right behind us. And at that point, what do?
Right.
Like you can't.
You don't not shoot. You have to be like, all right.
Do you let them like, all right, let them land. You guys go to your spot. We'll go to our spot and line up and ready for a line fight. It's just like,
yeah, you just can't really do that, because it's like if we would have went on into the woods, now not only do we have to worry about the threat in front of us, but somebody just landed on the chopper and we could get pinched really easy. So it's like, so I killed the person. I felt terrible.
But if they had a way to shoot back off the chopper, or hey, scroll wheel down, switch LZ to LZ2 instead of LZ1,
yeah,
that could be an option.
I think to exactly what you just said, Blue. But also, I mean, look at modern, military when they land choppers, right? Even little birds, like you're going to have, typically you have a support chopper there with a gunner, right? So if you have maybe a support chopper coming in, whether it's a Black Hawk or another Little Bird with miniguns or gunners on the left and right hand side with like 240 Bravos or something that would target players within a certain vicinity, that would deter LZ camping, because it's like, okay, you're not going to get one tapped, but you're going to get suppressive fired heavily, and if you're within the area, you're most likely going to die from the support chopper. So
Yeah,
I mean,
so it would give like almost like a safety
like.
radius around
Right.
the extract,
Right, exactly,
to give
to
you a
allow you
chance to
to get
leave.
out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, get to cover and
Okay.
things
Yeah,
like
and
that.
again, I could see like every time you take off, like when from base, maybe when you're little bird's coming in to land and pick you up, there's another one falling right behind it, and with
Yeah,
dual miniguns,
2 gunners
and
or
it'll just
something.
follow along or
And
something
after
like
they
that.
drop after you drop you, the chopper that drops you off is gonna bug out, and the support chopper will stay hover for like 15, 20 seconds and then bug out. And I think that,
Yeah.
to those 2 options, divert to another LZ and or have a support chopper there.
Yeah,
That
and
way you wouldn't want to camp LZs because you're gonna get killed.
I thought of that too. There's a lot of stuff. I don't know from like a tech standpoint how hard it is, but I thought exactly what you said, Buff. It'd be really cool if like then they could even make it pretty immersive too. The pilot could say, we have reports of tangos in the AO. How would you like to proceed? And like a little UI thing where you have like a few seconds to say, hey, take me just back to base, or divert to this
Right.
LZ, or do a hot drop anyway. You could have it drop some smoke maybe. You could have some maybe AI gunners on the chopper, I think would help. I think inherently, a lot of people said just shoot from the chopper. That won't really fix it, because people can just like see that you're on the left side and run around to the right side, and then when the chopper leaves, shoot you.
Yeah.
People can just
Also,
hide and wait
the
till
range
the
of
chopper
motion
leaves.
would be pretty limited too.
I think there needs to be a little bit of information fed to the player that there's people waiting there, because people could just camp, wait for the chopper to leave, and then dome you when you're out on the landing pad. I think it needs to be a multifaceted approach, and I'm not saying that LZ camping should completely go away, because maybe it could be a tactic, like a really shitty tactic, but it's something that could happen. It just needs to be way more difficult than it is.
That's where I think with like, again, I do think the player needs an option. Like, hey, there's been reports of combat in the area. Do you want to proceed to primary LZ, or do you want to divert to secondary LZ? Yes or no? And then also, I think with the support chopper, the gunner chopper, whether it's a Black Hawk or another Little Bird, maybe that's not always available, right? And that allows you as a player, you have to make a choice. You're not always going to have support there to cover you on an LZ. So you need to make a choice. Do you want to land? And that's where maybe you look at your map, like, is there blues there that I can, hopefully they're covering the LZ, or do I want to divert to a second LZ or back to base? That would make it interesting. To your point, then the camping wouldn't always go away, but it would be dynamic in a way, right? I think you need to make it dynamic.
I like the dynamic part.
Yeah,
I think
it needs to be dynamic, I think, is the key here, because
I think it'd be easier to maybe implement possibly than adding like a support, Little Bird. As much as that would probably be cool, but
right. And I like that idea, and I think the intel is really important for it. Even if the chopper player or the chopper gunner just says there's enemies at the LZ, how would you like to proceed? Well, then you could drop at a different LZ, and now there's people camping that LZ, so you could go drop at a different one and then come back and try to kill these guys that are camping. Try to get a high point, try to get eyes on, and kind of flip the script on these dickheads. Would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Or
just have some artillery. Friendly artillery drop, like there's enemy there. Do you want to divert or proceed?
There's a mortar
artillery or something
at base already that's just sitting there.
Okay.
Hey, load that up with some smoke.
Yeah.
And I want to I wanted to land at this LZ to cover my approach.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So then if we get into the base thing that you touched on about the base rating, I think that's something we could talk about too, because a lot of people are like, you just need to cut off that part of the map where it can't happen. I'm kind of the point where I think it should be a thing. I don't hate it. I think it was
I think it was a pretty cool moment, especially like when I saw, because like people will get upset if they die and keep getting spawn camped maybe there could be a way to mitigate getting trapped into your base. I mean, because you do end up spawning in the same spot pretty much every single time in base. It's always near the pool, I guess, or like the behind the house. I don't know what it's like on different factions. Um, but I think they're are they copy of each other? They're the faction bases.
I'm
Or are they
assuming
different?
so. I'm assuming so.
I would assume so.
They
But
look
regardless, it's usually like
yeah.
one spot that they spawn in. But I think like because when I saw someone defend from a raid and drive off the enemy force and even kill them a little bit outside of their base and win the fight basically. So I thought, and again, that was what you said earlier, because the enemy died so close to their base, they got all their stuff and there's no way they can go back. You
Yep.
know, and now they're on their toes and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
but
they're
again,
100% gonna lose
AI,
their stuff.
yeah, but the AI probably needs a little bit of buff in that situation to kind of, you know, it shouldn't be impossible, but it should be really, really difficult.
Yep.
Like there should be posted up MGs, a sniper rifle, AI on top that
Yeah.
would pretty much one tap you if you're out in the open for too long. Heck, now you got to start thinking about throwing smokes to, in their face and stuff like that. You need to have suppressing fire on the AI, and then you also have players to worry about too, that once something goes off, they're going to know about it. And there needs to be one more exit and an entrance other than that front gate.
Yeah. And then maybe like have it like if there's a like an enemy raid going on, maybe have like a safe building it can spawn you in. So at least you can, you can get kitted
like a
up
basement
and then go
or something.
go try to fight off.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool if like sirens went off and like it was kind of an event, and maybe even like,
yeah.
And then we talked about like, Big Fry mentioned this in his video that I thought was really cool about the factions. Right now the factions are the same. They look the same. Their towns are essentially the same. But it would be really cool like if there were maybe certain guns or certain items or certain things that were only tied to a faction. And so they would be super rare and really sought after for the other factions. But if you maybe raided a base, if you were able to like kill the enemy, kill the people in the base, maybe you were able to get some of that loot, and it would be like super rare loot. But like you said, the AI would be a pain in the ass. It would be really hard to fight out of the buildings. Maybe everyone would know kind of your position and stuff because they know the base was under attack. And I just think there's some cool events, like in-game events that could happen, because if you are trying to make this like an open world milsim, like the thought of the PMC, like I kind of like the thought of it because, the PMCs are normally like 90% of the time going to be doing their thing. They're working their thing, but maybe something pisses them off. And like, all right, guys, we're going to plan a raid. We're going to get across the map. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot of walking. It's going to be a bitch, but let's go try to get these guys in their base.
Exactly.
And like the PMC violence like that is like, man, I don't know. It's cool. I don't want it to go away. I want it to get iterated on. I want it to be like a rare event that could happen and a fun battle, like just a new kind of PvP that could happen. I think it would be really cool. But I guess to go along with the factions, identifying factions on the fly is a big issue. In my opinion, like gameplay wise, PvP wise, I don't know what you think about that, Blue. But with all of them, I haven't
been able to do and get into the PvP only because I've only played like for technically 2 days now, and the second day was pretty much cut short. But I wouldn't even say it would be nice to like, hey, Mithras wears, especially because, and I'm thinking because this game is slightly, I don't know how inspired it is by Roadside Picnic, or how much Stalker vibes they're gonna have. But it'd be cool to have certain colors per faction or certain uniforms that only they can get, But I feel like also people would be upset, like, hey, how come they get multi-cantropic and we don't? We get, only OCP and BDU. So that, maybe not, but
I would love to see different cosmetics. What I'm thinking is kind of like Squad, where it's like different camo patterns, but almost equally as effective at most maps. Like Squad, you kind of learn like the camo pattern of the enemy. How it is now, I've gotten into a few things of PvP, and I'm just always hitting M and pulling up my map to see where my friendlies are, because that's the only way like I can tell. and I'm like, I'll hit the M, I'll look and say, okay, I got guys over my right shoulder, and I got a guy front left. So if there's anybody over here, and it's just like always popping in the map to see where the friendlies are, so you could tell where enemies are. It'd be really cool to be able to identify them. People have said armbands, but I think like a subtly different set of camo or something that you could kind of get in your head and recognize. If you see that, you should torch them.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of limit, I think, but also, yeah, because like, sure, you could bring up the map, but that does kind of get kind of annoying a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like if I hear shooting this way, which the shooting does need a lot of work. The distance audio, the directional is great. I think I can tell exactly which degree someone's shooting from.
Yeah.
If they're shooting northwest 345, 50 degrees, whatever. It's the distance that's an issue too. Is I'm hearing my friendly shoot. He's 300 meters away, but he sounds like he's 5 feet in front of me. You know?
And
so
that could
I
be,
think that's an issue
do
too.
have some tuning to do with the ears, with the headsets, because it amplifies sound. I think it amplifies some stuff a little too much.
Have you ever? I'm pretty sure you've worn electronic,
Yeah.
headphones. In fact, I mean,
Careful what you touch, Blue.
Yeah,
it's just a headset. It's just a headset. Literally,
airsoft headset. Airsoft headset.
Get down on the ground. He's touching. He's grabbing something. He's reaching. YouTube. The YouTube
I have the
mods are
same
like,
exact. They're ready on the button. They're ready on the button. I literally have the same exact ones. The Walker
nice.
Razors.
Yeah, the Walkers.
No, I have those too. Yeah, those are great.
So
those are great headsets.
I've shot outside. I do not hear someone that close when I'm shooting out there on the range.
All right.
So,
chat. We have real world comparisons that it's too much audio, but like you did say,
audio.
Bright side, the directionality was money. Like I thought the audio was overall really good, but yeah, it did sound like you're like, oh my god, they're shooting right next to me, and then you pull up your map and see that a blueberry was fighting like 500 meters across town. And
seriously.
Yeah, so I'm still positive on the audio because it's like a balancing level issue and not like a Tarkov, oh my god, I'm hearing a scav rip his pants in some other map somewhere else, and it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Or it's I mean, there is no, I haven't seen any like vertical audio yet. So there hasn't been a situation where I was on the top floor, they were on the bottom too much. Not enough where it makes a difference. Like second floor is fine, but and that's already good enough too. I'm like, I can tell if there's one of the AI talking below me on the street level when I'm on the second floor. I can be like, oh, he's downstairs, he's outside to my left or to my right, so
yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
that was pretty good, and it was really good in the dude, that's the other thing. This is like just kind of coming to me right now, is like the exclusion zones for the audio were really seamless and good. Like Tarkov, it's so weird, like when you're in a building and then when you step outside, it's like a jarring, like when you cross the threshold of the door, it's like just a jarring switch of audio from inside to outside audio. They did a really damn good job with this of being kind of like a smooth
but there
transition.
are a lot of audio bugs too, I've noticed, where it's like the fauna and the ambiance or ambient noise, will literally cut in and out. And I think it's when I was playing with somebody today, I think Jericho was saying that it could be a ducking issue, where it's like moving from one point to another, it's supposed to change it, but instead of changing the audio, it just cuts off, so it'll be like that, it'll be really, really loud, and then it'll just stop for like a couple seconds and come right back on. So there are a couple issues, which isn't that big of a deal, but it is kind of jarring when it's just you and your squad or you solo, and all of a sudden all the frogs just stop for a second. There are, and I've noticed too from other playtests too, people were saying that there are a couple issues that were addressed during that feedback and weren't worked on, like especially the ambient noises was one of the bigger issues that people were saying, and they say like, I don't see any changes with that.
Interesting.
It could also be done in a different version, because I know that
It could be a priority thing
they
too.
did say that things were already, they have, this is one branch of another branch. So yeah,
Yeah, but we've heard that with
prioritization.
other games too, and
Yeah, we have, but prioritization, like what's game breaking, and then you go from there.
yeah, or the Sounds of Frogs game breaking, or is
Yeah,
not
no,
being able to hit your shots and
exactly.
hit
Or the
registration. Yeah,
dude, the AI,
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
so tanky, dude. Like
they're
that
I was
is,
so
I was
super tanky.
watching
Even now, they're still tanky, man.
I
yeah.
was watching Jesse today, the Jesse you played with, Crash,
Tinko?
who plays with Iron. Yeah, I followed him on Twitch and was watching him today. And he got like he got the Angel, he got a new chassis for the car, or the Mosin, I think it was. And he brought it in, was playing with it, and like sniped the AI in the head, just a base AI, and the dude just like shrugged it off. So like it seems like it's mainly like sniper rifles is where I've seen it be an issue, but also you
No,
get it
it's
with
I've
some of
seen
the
everything.
lower caliber
it. I've seen
weapons
it
too.
everything. Yeah, it's
Like snipers, I mean, Car 98, that's a 7, I think it's a 7.62 by
54.
the Mauser
is
round,
it,
right? Like that, right?
yeah, it's a Mauser round. So if it, I can't remember the actual
Isn't it
caliber.
762 by 54R?
I don't
No,
know.
that's
a
like
Russian round.
SVD. That's
Yeah, that's a
Mosin. That's
Russian.
what shoots that. Yeah, but
It's 50 something, but regardless, it like
someone to
that
chat will let us
one
know.
shot to the head with no helmet. Like, come on.
8 millimeter Mauser. It was
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, thank you.
But
Shout out
yeah,
Leo.
no. I've experienced that way too many times. Where and then on top of that, they're quick to just one shot you, and that can get pretty frustrating. And
Yep.
it's almost like I wish I could see, because it is, people were saying, oh, it's just the trajectory of the round. Maybe it hit underneath your armpit, bounced around. I wish I could see a trail of where the bullet went in my body,
Yeah.
to confirm that. Because if it
so-
just says like chest shot, and I'm like, but I was wearing level 3A armor and I got shot by, 9x18 from a Scorpion, but yet I still got one shot through the chest. I was like, that doesn't seem right unless I got shot upper here, and then it went down.
What's interesting though is I was kind of terrified in the beginning when all I was fighting against was AI, that it was an overall netcode problem, like it was an inherent game issue in the engine. But I really do think that it is an AI issue, and Mara has said they know what it is. It has to do with their body cavities not being modeled properly. They're too small. So normally when you would get a heart shot or a head shot or something, the wound channels are not interacting properly with the organs that are modeled. So you're just basically, so like if you shoot them in the middle of the chest, you're actually just hitting like arm tissue and they're not dying, because I've put in a whole mag of like 5.56 or 8.55 ammo into a scav, hitting over half of them. Let's be conservative, say over half of them, and at like 10 meters, and they're still alive. And then they'll one tap you. So it's a big issue.
And people are like, "Oh, you got to switch to hollow point." I was like, "Dude, I'm not seeing a difference." Even
no,
with
it's
hollow
not.
point,
It's not, because I was using the boat.
AI.
Yeah, I was using the soft points. I was using the boat tail hollow points. It is a bug. They are way too tanky. The guys in town, like the first ones that are wearing just wife beaters and bandanas, they should take a couple shots max. You can drop them. Now the guys at the mill base, who are even more cracked, and they're wearing class 3. We killed some guys wearing some class 5 and 6 armor at the mill base, so they can be tanky. Like that makes a little bit more sense.
But that makes a little bit more sense, exactly. And they're supposed to be tougher, and that's why I think the AI in the beginning, town should not be that crazy,
And I think when you can kill them in a bullet or two, it'll feel a lot better. It'll make like more sense. And they said they already fixed the issue where they could spin around and shoot you. There was something
I don't know. I saw that happen again today, so it's
again, it's
either
there's always
they're ads or they're
there's always going to be a time, I feel like, where you catch one where you just catch one in the noggin, and that's the way it is. But what lessens the blow of that a little bit is like, if you're playing with a squad, especially, even with not, you're probably going to get your stuff back if AI killed you, so it's not as terrible. But yeah, like the AI needs a ton of work. They know it. They know what bug is causing that. I'm really hopeful. I really, like, fingers crossed that they get a fix in for that. I would really love to feel the game where the AI are killable, like easily killable.
Yeah,
because,
I mean, this is my dream game, dude. I want it to succeed. I want them to get this fixed and polished off. And just in general, like the world itself, like sure the AI is an issue, but the world itself, like I get it. There was an event and everyone just got up and left and evacuated. But there's not one time, maybe like if they're open air buildings, but there's not one time where there's like an AI chilling in a house. Like it'd be cool to see AI, like look, especially if they're bandits, they should be taking over that town like it's the Wild West. Like take over someone's house, and like sit on their couch and stuff like that, and watch their TV or their radio or something like that. I don't know, but like it should feel more lively in those areas, especially with they, when they showcased the game in their earlier trailers, you had like AI walking around a checkpoint and it looked like they were busy, and then they always talked about like you would go up to a certain area and you can make a choice whether if they were like saying, hey, get away from us, or you can walk away and not shoot, or you can proceed that fight, which I did hear once.
I heard it
so
too.
far. Yeah, I heard. I was like, they're like, hey, get out of here, or something like that, and I was like, oh, okay. I actually walked away
Okay,
and they didn't
yes, sir.
follow. I was like, all right, cool. Especially I was solo at the time, and I was like, I don't know how many people are behind that wall, which
Yeah.
that also needs to get fixed to be able to like. There's so many walls and fences that I should vault that are pretty simple, like that just are not able to be vaulted. I mean, literally, I checked it. There's a corner where there's like maybe a 6-foot wall, and then the one next to it is maybe 7 or like 6.5. And I can vault the 6-foot one, but the 6.5-foot I can't. And then if the second I went onto the other side of the wall that I could vault, I couldn't vault back the other way. So
Right.
it's like now I have to find a way all the way around through a fence, and there's like a chain link fence right there that's like chest height. I should be able to just maybe grab into a pole, or I don't know, something. It wasn't like a chain link fence with like it was like flimsy. Like I should be able to jump over that, and I can't. So it's like little things like that. I think the loot as well too. I get it. It's pre-alpha. I have to keep preferencing this with saying it's pre-alpha, because even Rick told me it's like it's gonna get worked on. But I'm just wondering how quickly is it gonna get worked on? Like the loot tables are very dry, in my opinion, right now.
For sure.
Even I've seen it at military bases, airfields, stuff like that. It's still very dry. Like there's a crate right here that looks like it should be a lootable item, and nothing. There's a door right there. It looks like it's unlocked. It's I think it was like a fence to a house, and it's a gate that should just go click open. That can't be opened, and I can't even jump over it either. So it's like there's a lot of that. And to think this is a 42 square kilometer map that they got to go through every single place and add more loot that way, or fix walls that need to be vaulted. There needs to be more life in the game.
Like,
that's why I'm thinking like it's not going to take 2 months. It's going to take 6 months probably.
I have like 15 things I want to answer, Blue, but
I just want to say really quick that this is alpha, right? Like this is something that would be
exactly,
this version would be tested behind closed doors, and they were confident enough, or at least no NDAs, stream it, put it out to creators. So this is a build that like typically we wouldn't see at all. And then usually there's around, like you said, Blue, like 4 to 6 months development time, but between that and what would be seen. So this is still very early, I'm thinking, right? We'll have to wait and see, but it is alpha, pre-alpha footage still.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say I have to preference that I understand a lot of these things will be fixed. I'm just talking about the current playtest as it stands right now.
Right.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I was thoroughly impressed that they built this in a year.
It was, yeah, and I give them credit for sure.
And then so to finish my like way earlier thing, while I was worried about the AI being like an inherent netcode issue, I didn't have those same issues in PvP. PvP felt pretty good. I had some terrible luck in PvP. True. I shot Riot's buddy in the side of the head twice. One of the bullets didn't count, and one of the bullets hit his helmet. And like,
I wonder, I wonder if can you see that, if like you can open up a command and see, because I know like I'm thinking Rust, for instance, there's a command in the the tilde key. When you quickly type it in, you could see this bullet registered and this bullet didn't. I wish you could maybe
they have that in Battlefield, and it's depressing. But I could tell because I went back and watched it really close. I'm like, dude, I should have killed that guy. Because yeah, the AI was an issue. The AI ruined our fight there. We went over and took him. We killed 2 of them. There were 2 left, and they killed the 2 guys I was with. So with 3v4, it was me and 2 of those guys, and they were healing and stuff. And I was healing, and I crossed in front of a window, and an AI like 2 streets over domed me through the window. So like the AI ended that fight when it was just getting like super good. So that was disappointing. But I think to finish that thought, the bugged AI is going to get fixed, and I don't think it's a deep engine issue. I think it is what Mara said, like a problem with the organs are not correctly modeled on the AI. Like they didn't work.
Seems like a quick fix.
I think I'm really hoping.
It's hard to tell because I've never seen like this type of ballistic systems in any game, so I have nothing to compare this to. You know, not even Tarkov has this level of ballistic system with internal organs and bones and density of tissue, and you know, it's like, and bullets ricocheting and stuff like that. Their whole ballistic system in general,
right?
You know, but then there's also times where I'm like, there's a glass window, I'm shooting 5.56, I'm right in front of the window, and doesn't go through. So it's like, and then, you know, I don't know what that is. Is that still a ballistic issue, or is that
it's pretty complicated. I couldn't answer that by any means. But then to talk about the mantling, I really liked it for the most part. It did crash my game one time, but Tarkov took 7 or 8 years to get mantling. So like you can still get defeated in Tarkov by a curb on a street in the streets map that you can't get over.
True. So, like, and then definitely was some issues where people were getting stuck in between crevices, and then they had to you know, alt F4, and then when they came back, they spawned. I've seen a lot of people spawn underneath the map because of issues like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some of that going on, but all to say, I thought the movement from the player side felt pretty good. Some of the animations look a little silly in third person. Like the sprinting looks kind of funny. It looks like you got to take a dump really bad.
When I saw that, when I was watching your stream, he's like, "Hey, I want you to run for me," and then I saw that, and then I saw like he was like holding in a shit.
Yeah, it's
the
like
entire time. Like,
yeah, so if you guys are having a bad day and you need to laugh, have your squad mate run by you in Gray Zone Warfare and make the noise, "I gotta poop, I gotta poop, I gotta poop," and it'll make you laugh because like how they run like they're pinching it off. The other, what was the other thing that we were talking about? Shit, I forgot. Oh, the loot. So also the AI being really rudimentary. That was one of the things that they lined out in their Steam page, what I really liked. And I felt like I made a video about it, but I feel like not enough people talked about this Steam post they made. They basically said, here's early access, here's 1.0. And in the closer to 1.0, they had in there the AI doing missions. So I think the AI is going to be having to be constantly reiterated on like the whole time. That's going to be worked on for a long time, but that's the plan. It's going to be rudimentary at first.
Yeah, and that's the thing I forget too. It isn't, when it does eventually come out, it's not going to be a 1.0 launch. It is still going to be considered early access.
And they've already communicated, and I hope people are seeing this because they're going to get mad. I hope people see that post, man. Like early access and 1.0 is already spelled out, and we get excited talking about the 1.0 stuff quite a bit, but they already have said what they're going to do and like their time frame on that. So people need to be patient.
True.
And that's like asking a rainbow not to be beautiful.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like you're asking a lot out of the gaming community right now,
right? To
be patient and to give them the benefit of the doubt, you know.
The gaming community that some of them have been incredibly incessantly annoying about. Well, Tarkov does this, Tarkov does this, it doesn't do this as good as Tarkov. It's like,
this isn't Tarkov, dude. This feels more like an open Arma server, which I really love. Like if that's what it feels like more. Almost. I just was saying like the people that are like Tarkov does this better, Tarkov does this better. I'm like, man, if you want it to be Tarkov, like super crazy newsflash life hack, Tarkov is a game you can go play right now. Like, dude, but here's the thing, Tarkov's still in beta, like. And I went back and watched just to compare the two, and I was gonna put in my video. It's like this was Tarkov in its alpha stage, you know. And then this is Gray Zone in its pre-alpha stage. There is a complete difference between these two games during their alpha stages, you know. So there is a lot of work that was completed for sure. I guess I just have to wait and see how fast it gets done. in hindsight, you know, how fast they can complete their fixes and patches, because again, they need to release it even in early access, like in its best, with its best foot forward.
And they're also like, if we're talking shit on some members, I don't want to, not of this community, of like just gamers being mad, like the Reddit is a disaster.
I wouldn't even look at Reddit. That's the reason why Incursion didn't even worry about the Reddit, to be honest.
Yeah, just the people like mad about it crashing and stuff like that are the same people that are mad that it's only like creators and friends playing like a closed test.
I saw that, dude. If
they would have launched this to everybody right now, it would have got grilled. It would have been just beat into the ground about how terrible it is with like the AI and the disconnects and the bugs. Like the general gaming public would be livid. So like this was the play for them, man. Like this closed test was the play for them.
But I'm worried that it built too much hype.
Yeah, but they didn't take pre-orders. Like they could have taken pre-orders to let people in and made a ton of money.
Don't get me wrong. Even if they didn't take pre-orders, people are gonna, because of I think how much hype was built around this and people want it so bad, they're gonna expect it within a few weeks.
Yeah.
Which if they get it done in a few weeks, more power to them. But I just don't realistically see that.
Okay, so I think we agree on all this stuff. We gotta get Buff back on the podcast. We're losing Buff over there. I feel bad.
He's like he literally walked away 2 times. Like,
I'm just gonna take a break. Candy shop, when the candy shop's closed, he's looking in the window. What it's like, man. He's all sad. So I think Blue and I kind of overall agree on what the game needs to get into early access. We gotta talk. What do we think in time frame? Because originally they said this was going to be a 7-day early access and then you play right after for everybody. That's not going to be the case. They've fortunately and like positively walked that back to where it's going to come out later down the road. How long do you think they need, Blue?
I think you changed my mind a little bit, but I think only like a month earlier. I still think it needs maybe even 4 to 5 months. Maybe not 6, maybe not a year. And I think I was saying a year because I was like optimization still needs some work, even with like that picture scope. I dropped from 120 FPS like 70 to 80. And imagine people that aren't on 40 series cards. But and I was one of them just 2 days ago. What was it? I'm thinking maybe 4 to 5 months, just because I want, this is like my dream game. This is literally like, because I love Stalker, so you have that element there. You have the milsim part, you have the cosmetics, you have the team play, you have the co-op, and on top of that, you even have an option for just strictly PvE servers. If you don't want a PvP, you have PvE. So it's like all this combined, I don't want them to mess it up one bit. I mean, it's early access. There's gonna be some hitches and bugs and issues down the road, and they're gonna keep updating the game over time, but I'm thinking 4 to 5 months. Give it some time. I think, and what would that be? 4 to 5 months. I think it was May, June, July. So like August, September.
Yeah,
I can see
that's exactly what I was thinking. August, September.
Yeah, August, September, and then a year's worth of early access, or depending on how long they said it'd be in early access for. And you have a really good game after that. So again, I just want like if they go through it, and now that I see, especially running, seeing like a little bit, I know it's very such a smaller scale, but seeing the developing side on Unreal Engine 5, they need a little bit more time. So
you've also kind of changed my mind a little bit too, where I want them to take a little bit more time because I want them to do it right. The thought of how many people are going to play this and the servers is a little scary. I think early access launch.
That's another thing I mentioned too. Yeah,
I think there's going to be
I'm worried about the server load.
Yeah, there's a shitload of people going to try to play this thing when it launches, but I think they're going to release it in a month and a half. I think it's going to be out in 4 to 6 weeks. For better or worse, because they said this is the early access. So this is the early access build that they want to release and start early access with.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see where you're coming from now.
So they're just gonna, I think they're just gonna solidify and make this build work with some optimization, fixing the AI,
and send it over,
helping with the choppers, and then start on early access from this build. So I'm thinking, yeah,
I'll give it a month. With what you just said, Crash, give it a month to.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say because of what you just said.
What's priority to fix? What choppers? Like AI spongy. I think those are the main things, and I'm sure they have a list of like bugs and performance issues, netcode, whatever. Get that stuff mainly squared away. But again, pre alpha or early access, you're making iterative builds throughout the game's life cycle before you reach launch. So with what you just said, I would agree with like a month and a half, whatever they need to get. I'm sure they're going to come out of this. How many more days is it? Like 1 or 2,
two
right?
more days. You got.
So they're gonna come out of this with a list of like to dos, priority to dos before early access, and that I would say 4 to 6 weeks based on that.
I think because of what you just said, if this is the early access stage that they want to put out there, maybe 2 months, now. If I had to really put it out there, but if this isn't, then I'm still sticking with 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
again, it's
I'm like you, Blue. Like for 1.0 with all the other stuff they want to do that they're working on, I'm thinking like a year or two, like a couple years of early access probably. But as long as they're like, working on it and the game stays relevant and fun, it's going to be cool to see where they take it.
That's any early access game. I feel like as long as it's continuously being updated and worked on, and people see that, and it's getting good changes, not breaking the game entirely, then you should be fine lasting a year in early access.
And I'm hoping they can do it.
Yeah.
Does expert segue? You ready for this? I'm calling it out. Does the imminent test and release of Arena Breakout Infinite on PC speed up their timeline? Do they got to beat them at all, or do they care?
No, because it's not an extraction game. It's not an extraction. It's not. That is more of a Tarkov clone than anything else I've ever seen, other than Tarkov itself. It
is. So from what I've seen from Arena Breakout Infinite, from what my limited, because I'm not a mobile gamer, I know that surprises everybody.
What, you don't play Call of Duty mobile?
I don't, man. I'm so sorry.
Apparently it's doing really good.
Yeah, well, they put Verdansk, they went whole hog on the nostalgia for that thing. So people are loving it. What Arena Breakout Infinite feels like the port of, this is essentially Tencent, a Chinese version of Tarkov, like, I think. But what's kind of exciting about it is the absolute massive amount of capital behind this thing. Tencent owns like the vast majority of the world. I feel like they own. Like,
I think they're even into real estate too.
Oh yeah, dude. Like if you look at some of the stuff that Tencent owns, it is crazy, man. Like what all they have stock in and ownership in the US too. It's just it's hard to imagine how big this company is. So they're gonna have a closed beta in early May. It's, guys, I don't know, for those of you playing at home, it is now late April, so early May is not that far off. So there's gonna be a play test really soon for this. And what it is and why it's a little bit exciting, not only behind the capital behind it to maybe pull this game off, but the fact that they essentially copied Tarkov, like I guess they do in China, stealing information quite a bit and redoing it more efficiently. They also have added some like huge quality of life stuff when it comes to the UI and taken a little bit of the hardcoreness out of it. So
I saw that.
It's a little bit Call of Duty like, and why I think Buff should be really excited about this is they've added stuff to make it kind of DMZ like, but more hardcore, but to where it's like you have UI, like you can see your teammates, like you have stuff on your HUD to tell you like where your objective is. Like there's just more feedback from the UI. It's not as like, what the hell am I doing, Tarkov? It's going to be so much easier to pick up and play kind of like
page. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's so funny. I saw the trailer too. Sorry.
I was just saying that was one of the main complaints of the original Arena Breakout was that it was like almost too hardcore. So
yeah, I mean, from what I saw too on mobile, I was like, damn, this really is Tarkov just on mobile. And I was like, I kind of wish it was on PC because I feel like a lot more people would also play it as well too. And then here we are, it's coming out, and then it's like I'm hoping it's not just from what I saw from the UI and the pictures. I guess they were leaked at first, and then they just went out and just posted it. Um, from what I saw, it looks like they took that game and made it and almost made it for PC. They didn't just like port over everything mobile wise and just said, all right, now it's on PC, you know? And then on top of that, it's funny, I saw the trailer and like they literally have the gold, like the golden line, you know, or the bronze statue line thing too, right there. It's like, come on, like that literally, you know, you got, it looks like coins, like it looks like Bitcoin as well too. Am I going to be able to, you know, do that as well too? Oh, that's another one too that I'm surprised we didn't talk about is Vigor.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
also another extraction shooter coming to PC. That was originally console for Xbox. So that's another thing too. Yeah. Oh my God, we're gonna be eating on PC when it comes to extraction shooters.
There's a lot coming.
And Vigor's fun. Vigor's Bohemian Interactive extraction shooter. People who made Arma.
I got these pictures. I can pull these up for the folks watching. Dude, that's Tarkov. That's Tarkov's weapon preset, like exploded view. That
oh my God, yes. When I saw that, I was like, you literally took that. From Tarkov.
I mean,
but and I agree with Flo in chat. This is, I mean, finally there's some legit, hopefully legit competition to Tarkov. I think people are just trying to mimic Tarkov a little bit. So I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. Again, it's Tencent. I don't really agree with a lot of things they do.
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So
flattery, exactly. But it really, I mean, everything the even like the color grade of like that dark gray, slightly unsaturated look, you know. Heck, I think even some of the logos that I saw was very, you know, Bear USEC like a little bit their own iteration. I think one of the faction was not a bear, but it was like some kind of tiger or something face, you know.
Just being able to see your friendly, just having that UI thing will just make things a lot more relaxed, in my opinion.
It looks good too. I'll be honest, from the screenshots. I'm curious what engine it's running on because it is coming from mobile. So like, what did they port it over? Is this Unity as well too? Is this Unreal? Probably, if I had to guess, it's probably Unity only because it is coming from mobile.
This looks exactly like
which would be hilarious. Which would be hilarious because then so did Tarkov come from Unity as well. So
yeah, dude, this looks exactly like the Northern UN roadblock on Woods, like this screenshot.
Oh my God, it does. Or there's not the one on Shoreline. Not Interchange. I'm trying to think of. Maybe is it? I don't know. There's so many that have like that gate with like the sandbags in front. You know,
dude, this one looks like the sawmill. Yeah, like the old sawmill on
straight
Woods.
from Tarkov Arena.
Like, the factory tower in the back. It's crazy.
That looks like a Tarkov Arena map right there. You know, which is sawmill. Yeah, which is what they took it from anyways. So, that's funny. Okay, and we even like the weapon loadouts, the manipulation. That looks like Woods, just slightly different. I mean, God, the reflections on that look amazing. I'm just looking at the stream. Sorry, audio listeners, it looks good.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I'm excited to try it, especially because it is free to play. Correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be free.
Yep.
So I mean, man, sign me up. It's free. I wonder how the cosmetics will turn in the future because they got to make money somehow.
I think just look at whatever Arena Breakout did, which wasn't crazy, and then that's going to be the same thing as Delta Force. So I mean, and you have Vigor. There's what else do we have coming for extraction shooters?
Division Heartland, technically,
Division
I guess.
Division Heartland.
I guess Heartland too. Yeah, you know,
and
technically,
there's some others that I can't think of, but
you know, Incursion's still there too, but that's still early access. I'm sorry, but like as for full extraction games, I'm only thinking like this Arena Breakout, which you know isn't going to be early access. I think Division Heartland, Vigor. I think
that's just all this year, though. I mean, that's all.
I mean, that's just in 1 year from having no other competitions in Tarkov
or Call of Duty. There's been nothing besides Call of Duty.
Yeah, and DMZ was there, and that shut down. So
that's what I was. You know, when I did that stream Saturday, everyone was just like, "I can't believe Activision abandoned DMZ, and now you have all the extraction shooters coming out." It's like, man, you guys dropped the ball big time.
They just didn't know. I really think DMZ.
But the writing was on the wall, man. The writing was on the wall. Like it was obvious that BR was just getting stale.
I just don't
Extraction
think
was.
I don't think Activision or the Call of Duty studios, Infinity Ward or whatever, I don't think they understand what a player wants out of that kind of experience.
No, clearly not.
No, they
given
don't. But they're
DMZ.
focused on selling skins anyways. I mean,
They are. You can be a Velociraptor in COD now, so that's
That
good.
is
Oh my
hype.
god, I saw that. The Codosaurus. So I was
Yeah.
like, what the?
That was,
man.
I didn't want any campaign grounded immersive skins. I wanted a goddamn Velociraptor. That's what I wanted.
The
I know you're a
future.
big dinosaur guy, Buff. I knew it.
I am. Yeah, you know him, man.
I know you.
I love Jurassic Park, so
Yeah.
I was pretty pumped to see that.
we gotta get Buff a PC so he can play some of these things.
Yeah, I need to
into
join
it,
the PC elitist group and not be just tied down to the nothing that exists on consoles.
But yeah, man, just the people's opinions on this stuff, and I guess we really didn't talk about when we were talking about Gray Zone, just how many people were so mad that there were so many people like how mad they were that they copied Tarkov's inventory, and Blue touched on it a little bit. It's like, dude, Stalker did it first. DayZ's done it for a long time. That inventory is like, you can't just say because the inventory is the same, it's a copied game. It's so much different. People
But
are
again,
just like,
why remake the wheel if something worked originally with the games prior to Tarkov, which Tarkov took inspiration from? Why change it? You don't want to be a Battlefield 2042 and reinvent a wheel that works perfectly into
But it's for the fans.
Three-dimensional triangle, 8 gig, mind control wheel. You don't want to do that. Just make a wheel.
just make a wheel, man. It'll roll.
Pretty simple.
My granddad always said on the farm, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, why are you messing with that on the combine? It works. Stop it. Don't touch it.
Exactly. So people that are saying like, I can't believe the car beat Tarkov, blah, blah, it's like, okay, so design the inventory system then that you would want to see, and you're going to come up with the same thing that you see in every other extraction shooter.
Yeah, there's not much flexibility.
Tarkov, DayZ, Stalker. What else would you do? How else do you lay out your rig, your backpack, your carrier, your weapon slots? How else you're going to move the icons around in different locations? There's one way to do it. So to say they're copying things is just stupid.
Yep. So to take it back to Arena Breakout Infinite, Chinese Tencent, they said they're going to go crazy on anti-cheat. Am I conspiracy theory and thinking about a Chinese company having a kernel level anti-cheat on your machine? Is that a worry? I don't know cybersecurity.
I mean, so many people walk with TikTok in their phones and
it doesn't matter,
iPad
dude.
and iPhone. It's too late.
Like,
I don't
let's
have
be
anything
honest,
on my PC anyway.
The government's been listening to your phone calls since the 80s, and you're
if you want to really think about it, look inwards, don't look outwards.
Bottom line is, you're not a terrorist. You don't have anything to worry about. Period. So who cares? So let's stop cheating in video games. I don't care what it takes.
The Chinese are going to have your data.
Great. They can look at my Amazon shopping list. Good God.
They got access to my Facebook that I haven't used in years.
Me posting my YouTube posting videos every day and looking on Amazon and Twitch. Wow. They're going to have a field day with that, man.
Yeah. But yeah, Breakout Infinite is really cool. It's just funny that all these things are kind of hitting at the same time. It's taken extraction shooters like a slow burn, I think, because there's maybe more involved with them. And I think the looting and stuff is going to get better with Gray Zone. As they said, one of the things for 1.0 is wanting to have a hideout. So I think there will eventually be a hideout, and that'll leave a reason to get more loot to like upgrade your hideout and stuff like that. But I was above. That's the one thing I forgot to touch on. My brain's all over the place today because there's like so much to talk about, and I'm like excited about all these games that are hitting. I think loot will get better too when there's more stuff to progress, and more weapons and stuff too. I would like to see more weapon attachments out on the ground, because I did find a scope a couple times, like the L-Can, which is a really nice scope in the game. I found that once, and that was pretty hype to find stuff like that. I found a AK dovetail to regular rail adapter that was like type. So I'm with you, Blue. I think they need to get the loot tables up and more stuff to find. With Breakout Infinite, neither one of you guys are really familiar with the mobile edition, are you? Like how the questing and progression and stuff works?
I
in
played
that?
a little bit. It's pretty. It's pretty on par with how Tarkov does.
And then
And I know I know like Blackout was talking about it a while ago when it first came out. I know even Fry, when it first came out, he went out and specifically I think he bought the gamepad for his phone just to play that. Like he did that just for that game alone. So clearly there's something to it, and I'm excited to see what you know what it looks like on PC. So
do you guys have any knowledge of microtransactions? Because that's the other thing I'd be worried about with it being a free to play game.
I
a
think
Chinese
Buff said
company.
something, right? No, did you
I
see
saw,
anything about that?
I like from what I've seen, it looks it's going to be the exact same as what you're going to see in Delta Force. Also, it doesn't. There's no pay to win, so that's not something to worry about. But you know, you're gonna have bundles and weapon skins and blueprints. But from what everything I've seen, there's nothing like over the top. I haven't seen like clown skins or rat face operators or dinosaurs running around in any of those games. So
Yeah, I don't think so.
they seem to do it. They do it differently, but it's not pay to win. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. If as long as it's not pay to win, there's nothing really to worry about.
Gotcha, dude. Yeah, that's something that we're gonna keep close tabs on in the coming weeks as they announce new stuff with that. I mean, if they're saying early May playtest, we're gonna be seeing gameplay within the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be sick. I'm excited to see that. So everyone should sign up for the beta. You can Google how to do that. If you go to Arena Breakout Infinite, it'll take you to their main arenabreakoutinfinite.com website, and you have to make an account. I just used the throwaway email and try to sign up for the beta. And then I don't know, Blue and Buff, I also found on their website where you could sign up on a creator thing, like submit a Google Doc with like your channels and stuff.
Okay.
I don't. That's like if you was that becoming like a partner with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care about partner programs anymore for video games as long as
I was hoping it'd be like the one with Gray Zone, where it's like you're a VIP, but you just get the game and you don't have to do anything. It said what kind of
there's no Rick over there.
Probably not. Rick's a legend. Then there's yeah. I just want a damn key to play and talk about the beta, so I can talk about it on here and make videos and talk about it.
That's all I want. Is I'll try to sign up for the closed beta, but that's about it.
Yeah. I just want a key so I can talk about the game.
True.
That's the main thing, good or bad. I will never be part of a program where I have to be positive or say something other than the truth about a game. Like that.
Exactly.
That's never gonna happen. That's why I never had a prayer of making it into the EA creator network for Battlefield. I'm not their type of guy.
Yeah. You don't like to be on your knees, I can tell. So.
That's right. My older age, I'm becoming more and more vocal about the EA creator network. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I guess we're getting late. What a great show. Do you guys want to XDefiant test? There's not a lot to say here.
All I heard was it was terrible, and it seemed like they didn't make any changes. That's all I heard.
I heard I was watching Abel's video, and it's like I guess they actually went like backwards on some things a little bit. And then I was watching my buddy Crucial FPS stream it for a bit, and he was like, dude, there's something's different. Like he's a good shot. I mean, this dude's getting like quick shot, no scopes in Battlefield. He's getting, I mean, he was like, just bolt actions, close quarters all day long. And this dude was taking, he's like, I can't hit my shots. There was like also like I hate that I don't know if it's a perk, but the thing that makes someone go invisible.
They took that out.
You can't. Yeah. It was, but the fact that it was in there to begin with, of like, even if they're moving and shooting, they're still invisible,
Right. Yeah. They took it out because it was broken and not working as intended. So, I mean, that's a good thing. They took it out quick. That's something. I guess.
I guess they're I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. This game, I think this game is pretty DOA. It's DOA for me unless they add a search and destroy mode, which is like one of the only things that I think will play well on it. I hopped in and played a few because I knew that we would want to talk about it. I hopped in and played a few matches. For people saying the netcode is bad, it is, but it is way better than it was. It was atrocious in the last one. It's still not as good as like Call of Duty's netcode, but it was a lot better. And I felt like they dicked up the movement and made it slower and clunkier, and that's what a lot of people said. But people said that the last time, and I think it's just because people played Call of Duty and then went back to this. And it
yeah, I
did.
That was one of the biggest complaints. They were like, I can't, slide cancel bunny hat, do all this as fast as I can in Call of Duty. This game's too slow. It's like, it's because you're on crack when you're playing Call of Duty. Like,
and when I did get used to it, I played probably 3 or 4 matches. I had a couple matches where I dominated. Like, there's no skill-based matchmaking, and aim assist isn't as strong. So I was really having a decent time on mouse and keyboard.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Black Ops 2 movement a bit before Call of Duty kind of went to a little bit too crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely way more chill movement. It's like older COD movement for sure.
Yeah, it is older COD movement for sure, and that's what I think I would enjoy that more. But
yeah, I agree. I think like I do like Modern Warfare 2's movement system over Modern Warfare 3, but particularly you go older school like COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1. I think was nice.
Yep, it's almost just kind of sad, like how it's becoming like. I think this is kind of embarrassing for Ubisoft, to be like, it's taking you this long, this many tests, this many iterations to make a clone of a game that's been out for like 15 years. Like, you're a AAA multi-billion-dollar company publisher, and you can't make
this was an early access indie game. It'd be a different story for sure. But yeah, this is Ubisoft.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, it feels like that Shatterline game played better. You remember Shatterline? Like that indie.
Dude, I never really got a chance to play before it completely died off too.
Yeah, but
even though it's still active technically.
What's gonna happen with this thing? But Shatterline like played better than this thing does, and it was an indie game. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be wild. I think this is a little bit embarrassing for Ubisoft, and they just don't have a ton going for them.
And then the whole thing with like Star Wars Outlaws as well too. Like, Ubisoft's just not having a good time right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, because this could very well be another Hyperscape thing, but I don't know. Maybe COD will piss off enough people that there'll be a player base on here. But yeah, this video from Nero Cinema is showing some crazy netcode problems.
Yeah, I saw a lot of it on that.
Yeah, I think even, but I think you said a while ago, a couple months ago, like Call of Duty is just too big to fail. I think the more people hate it, the more popular it gets. I feel like at this point.
Yeah, like what Flo said, you need to have a franchise to make an arena shooter work. I think that's why they're trying to take all of the characters from the Ubisoft universe and put them together to try to get some kind of notoriety.
I mean, but then they dropped the Tom Clancy name, and you know, like how long has it been? Like, dude, since it's been over. Since they originally released it.
It's been like 2 years since they announced it. I feel like at this point,
it's gone from something I was excited to watch and play to something I'm excited to watch the train wreck of the game, because it's just crazy. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, personally, like,
I'm excited more for Delta Force.
Oh, 100%. I honestly, given just the delay and stuff, I'm a little bummed they didn't do the extraction shooter that they announced alongside this.
Yeah,
that was Tom Clancy. I forgot what it was called, but I was really pumped for that. Yes.
Oh yeah, and then that one got canceled. I was
excited for that, and they canceled that over this, and this is just like, whatever they're doing here. I don't know, but I remember they did an alpha for Frontline that was like they did basically what GGray Zone just did. Everyone could stream it, all that stuff. And then they're just like, yeah, we're going to cancel it.
Yep.
I don't know. I think XDefiant needs to figure it out pretty quick, because the constant tests over and over, the way it's performing is not making it look good. And you have other games that are doing the same thing and performing perfectly for the most part. So comparatively, at least. So I don't know. I think they missed their window unless they make a lot of changes and come out really strong with a great product.
I wonder You think we can remember to next week talk about Vigor? I'd like to learn more about that from you guys that have like played it and stuff.
Definitely. I know this Justin who's in chat, he was playing it like quite a lot. And some other people in my Discord community and stuff played it a lot. I think Blue said he played it, so that's gonna be a good one. I think it was Xbox Vigor. I think it was Xbox exclusive.
I didn't play it. I wanted to because I at the time my Xbox just wasn't working.
It sucks.
So I just had to watch videos. But
yeah,
I will say from what I've seen, it's like, I mean, again, just the extraction shooter with your own little base that you can always go back to and stuff like that. And it's very a little bit more open world than some other extraction shooters. It looks pretty. It looks good even on console. Like I can only imagine what it's gonna look like, especially because I've just gotten into Reforger as well too, and seeing that engine now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's
that's
so pretty.
Another one I think we need to talk about with all the mods too next week. There's a lot of fun on with that for sure.
Yeah, I would be down. There's stuff that I've not been into that I need to figure out, because Gray Zone's kind of gotten me like back into the extraction type shooter itch again. That Tarkov threw me out of when I got so sick of doing the same quest over and over.
Man, I was sad watching old footage from old Tarkov Alpha. I was just like, because that's when I joined, it was like Alpha days when I saw like it said 7. I saw the videos like 7 years ago. I was like, holy crap. Like, that's when I like first put my PC around that time. And I was watching like Level Cap and Jack Frags try out this new shooter, and it was like, is this new Tarkov shooter worth it? Stuff like that. And I was like, oh, man, take a look at it now, or they have seen it now, but it's like, if those people back then could see it now, maybe it would be a different experience. But yeah.
For sure. But I don't know, is that a show? That was a lot. We got through a lot of stuff. Holy cow.
I'm surprised we got through most of it. I would say a little bit, XDefiant was kind of XDefiant. Who really cares anymore anyway? So
yeah, kind of. It's crazy.
We'll see.
I will say I'm curious. I'm curious what you guys think about also faction changing real quick before we leave, because there's plenty of moments where I had a buddy of mine message, people, a couple people like, hey, you want to play Gray Zone again? I was like, dude, I'm Lemang. I can't. I wish I could. I really wish I could. And I'm curious what you guys would think about, like, how do they address that situation? Because I feel like it needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough. So my take, I haven't played it, so I just would think, like, as a creator, hey guys, I'm gonna be whatever. You want to play with me, be this, or my friends, hey guys, we're all gonna be this. That's the same as Tarkov, isn't it? Or can you play Bear and USEC together? I can't remember.
Bear and USEC can play together, no problem.
Together.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, maybe there just needs to be kind of like a join type system, almost like DMZ, where like you send a, hey, we're gonna be friendlies together or something. But
yeah, I don't know.
That's a tough one, because then what's the point of being different factions? You know what I mean? Like if some factions have different things. It's incentivizing you to be different factions each wipe. So it's
at least they're doing that,
Yeah.
But but I'm also, I was like, maybe they should add another character or another additional person you can choose. But then I also thought, like, someone's gonna take advantage of it, join the same server, start looting from one server, join the faction in the same server, go from there. So
yeah, I think like a friendly system, similar to like what we see in DMZ. You join a squad, or at least like you're within vicinity, and you can be like, hey, we're gonna be friendly, and maybe they turn blue together, or a different color where like you could still kill them. But
almost like the Vision, like they go rogue.
Yeah, something like that. But again, those are like further down the line concerns. I feel like not right now, but I think
not right away.
Longevity, I think definitely it would add a whole nother layer to the game. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, do we want to join up with these guys, or are we gonna kill? There's definitely a lot there. So that'd be cool. It's a good question.
We'll say I saw a lot of people go Mithras. A lot of my friends go Mithras. So I was thinking, so I wanted to try Lemang this time, see if there's really not a difference between any faction at this current moment. So maybe in the future there will be.
Yep.
What did you think, Crash?
It's
About
tough.
that?
It's kind of like World of Warcraft or something, you know? That's what I think of when I think like the factions that can't play together and stuff.
That's
And
true.
World of
Yeah.
Warcraft's been kind of walking that back from what I understand, from what I've heard from people that play that. So it's tough, but I think the way they designed the game, I don't think there's any way getting around it.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
you're just gonna have to say, and you'll be able to change them, you know, when it wipes. So like if you meet somebody you want to play with, I guess you're gonna have to be that's on a different one. He's like, hey, next one, let's go, you know, let's go this faction. Um, yeah, you're gonna have to just figure that out ahead of time, which is kind of tough because that's one of the cool parts about gaming is like meeting new people and then teaming up with them and working together.
Right.
And
Yeah, exactly.
That was my first day. I met some really cool people. I was like, hey,
Same.
I'm solo, you're solo, let's team up. Hey, this other guy's solo, let's team up. Oh, and now we're on a 4-man, you know?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah. I don't.
Buff will get a new PC. I promise.
The way it is, I don't know how.
Look at that Costco one, yeah.
But
I'll put some money down to help you with that Costco one. I'll help you out.
No, I see it.
I believe in this project that much.
That's a good one. I can get that one. It's just a matter of I don't know how to build different stuff. I'm not a gaming PC like what I need as far as I mean I pretty much know what I need for like graphics card and CPU and all that stuff, but I've never built a PC. So I bought my current PC just to stream with my Elgato from my PlayStation. So but some of the stuff I looked at Costco, I found that one, Crash. So I mean that looks good, and there's some other ones there that just looking at the different CPUs and stuff on top
some
of
of the
GPUs be
like
pretty good.
I've done that. I've done that quite a bit. To like take Costco ones and then build it in PC part picker, and just can't do it. Like the Costco ones are just cheaper, but
it's cheaper, yeah, for sure. They're pretty good deals, definitely. And you can always replace the parts. I feel like you probably save. So
you really could. Any pre-built, you could just replace the part yourself.
swap stuff out. Exactly.
It's not like they lock it in, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll pull the trigger when we know when Gray Zone's gonna be dropping, and then I'll be going ham. Be great.
All right.
nice.
Then we squad up in the same faction.
Justin with the $4.99, dude. Thank you. Shout out to Blue and the Incursion on team for putting out updates all week and weekend long. He's obsessed with the Incursion Red River. Sweet. Thank you for the $4.99. I'll have to forward that to Blue. Dang it. I have to figure that out. Blue is cut. I'm not good at accounting.
You guys are getting paid?
Wait, what? We're getting paid? So anyway,
all right, cool.
Is that a show?
That's a show.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. The audio version will be out ASAP. Thank you guys for joining us on both YouTube streams. We're going to talk about the analytics a little bit offline, but it was awesome to have some new folks in from the vertical side, scrolling through the shorts feed. That was really awesome. I appreciate you guys joining us. If you are still here, pop over to the main channel, drop a sub if you want to. Links to the audio version of the show is in the description, wherever you can find the video descriptions. That is there. Thank you guys so much to the podcast listeners that download it and listen to us every week. I get comments from those folks in my Discord. Appreciate it so much. It was so much to get over today, and just don't want to end the show without saying thank you to the people that hang out with us while we talk about video games. It's humbling and awesome that people do that, because there's so many other things you could be doing on a Monday evening, so many other good content creators you could be watching TV and all that, but the fact that you guys choose to spend it with us is badass, and we appreciate you all. On behalf of me and the production team, thank you guys. And if you want to support us, be a friend, tell a friend, bring somebody back with you next week, share it around, drop a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'd appreciate all that, and just help grow our audience. We can get better guests, we can get just better stuff, and keep the show growing. We'd love to keep the scope on the up. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys next week.
Later, everyone.
Peace.